let's get started. So welcome everybody to the Grandmother Circle on Tobacco Teachings today. Really excited to have you here. We have an hour together today, so I just want to first and foremost just get right into it and start off with offering the lovely grandmothers who are here with us today this tobacco. I want to offer this to you for your time with us today and for sharing your wisdom with us. And for those of you who are also in the room today with us in the audience, you're more than happy to, or you're more than welcome to start off with a smudge if you have a smudge nearby. So we're going to do a smudge together here right away. But yes, thank you, grandmothers, for being here today. And Janet will get you your tobacco sometime afterwards. So please take it away. I would invite you now to pray together and open together in a good way.
Okay. Nata ninizada nitikusnahata sinachine kamakutate diesitana kata sitana kamakuministita nata sanita sinachina te kamakuministita nata. I pray that the Holy Spirit will be with us and the Holy Creator will take care of our prayers today and accept us and these offerings that we're making, these offerings of tobacco that have been made. I pray that the Holy Spirit and the Holy Creator will take up and accept the offerings. I pray for all of us who are here today, all of the workers, all of the elders, and especially the organizers that put on this event for all of us to participate in. And I'm thankful for all of you to be here. Siaskas, thank you.
Thank you.
Returning to our adolescence.
Thank you for opening us and starting us off in a good way. It's always beautiful to hear the different languages together. So thank you for that. We're looking forward to hearing from you shortly, and funny enough about the protocol that we just experienced and shared together of offering tobacco. So hold on tight, everybody. I do also want to continue the opening protocol with a land acknowledgement. On behalf of Alberta Recreation and Parks Association, I would like to just acknowledge the First Nations, the Métis, the Inuit, and all the people across this province who share a history and deep connection with this land. And we're really dedicated to moving forward in partnership with Indigenous communities and the spirit of reconciliation and collaboration. And I specifically just want to acknowledge that I'm calling in from Amiskwichi Waskahikan, which is the Cree word for Edmonton. It translates to Beaver Hills House, and I'm really honored to call this region my home. As myself, I am part Cree Métis on my dad's side, and my mother's side is English and Ukrainian heritage. So I feel very lucky that I get to live here. So as for introductions, I am Brianna Morin. I am the outgoing program officer of engagement and reconciliation for ARPA and Communities Choose Well, and I'm now the communications and marketing coordinator. And most importantly, I'm your moderator for today. Here with me also, I have a few of my ARPA team members. I have Madison, Kane, and Janet here with me today. So if they're pinned or spotlight, you can give a wave. Madison is the program officer of engagement and events for Communities Choose Well, and she'll be helping out in the background today with some awesome tech stuff. So give a wave, Maddie. And then, or a smile. And then next up we have Kane Crowshoe. He's our student intern in the role of special projects coordinator, who will also be helping out in the background with tech support, because you never know with these Zoom things. And then finally, we have Janet Naklia, who is the Director of People and Programs with us at ARPA. And she's also the powerhouse behind helping making these grandmother circles come to life and come to fruition. So she'll also be here as a support in the background, and we might hear from her later today in the discussion as well. So few housekeeping items. Grab a cozy spot for this webinar over your lunch hour, grab your lunch. If you do have any questions, we will try and get to them by the end of this webinar. So you can type any questions you have in the chat box or the Q&A box, whatever works for you. And then just know that it is being recorded so that it can be shared with folks afterwards, including yourselves, so you can watch it again later, and just for those who were unable to make it today. So that's a little bit of the housekeeping stuff out of the way. Now we will move on to introducing the webinar, the Grandmother Circle. So yes, you're here for the tobacco teachings today. This is our feature event in honor of embracing National Day for Truth and Reconciliation in our programming throughout the month. Because September 30th is coming up this Saturday. And just for those of you who might still not be aware, I don't know, I would hope at this point we all are, but Orange Shirt Day is an Indigenous-led grassroots commemorative day intended to raise awareness of the individual, family, and community intergenerational impacts of residential schools, and to promote the concept of every child matters, as on all of our orange shirts, if you're wearing one. And yeah, the orange shirt is a symbol of the stripping away of culture, freedom, and self-esteem experienced by Indigenous children over many generations. So make sure you wear your shirts on orange on September 30th. Yeah, so fun fact, this is our 9th Grandmother Circle now, number 9. How excited. We started them back in 2020, thanks to lovely Doreen Healy here, Elder Doreen, who's on the screen. We'll hear from her shortly, but I just wanted to introduce her she is a Blackfoot elder living in the Calgary area right now, and she is the visionary for these Grandmother Circles. Without her, these circles would not exist. And so we're just really grateful to have you here again. And I now would like to throw it to you if you wouldn't mind sharing a little more about the significance of these Grandmother Circles. Over to you.
Oh, thank you. I'll just make it very short and brief. Janet and I started discussions back in 2019. And I shared with her that I wanted to help young mothers to connect with the wisdom of our Indigenous grandmothers. I had a bigger picture, a bigger vision, I should say, where I wanted to adopt grandmothers. So when there's a young mother, to adopt a grandmother so they could help her walk down that path with a new child. And to help her along the way. The point was not, so we kind of pulled it back, and the point was to highlight the wisdom and celebrate perspectives on Indigenous women. Then COVID hit, and so through discussions with ARPA, we decided to move the circles online. Now that we are online, we have been able to impact people from across the province and beyond, to also help advance reconciliation. As this is the 9th circle, and the circles have featured the voices of several different grandmothers from across many different nations. So I'm just always so grateful our grandmothers have that from our knowledge keepers. They're so knowledgeable, and there's very what am I trying to say? Very they have very spiritual, and so every time we meet, I learn from them. So I'm learning just like everybody else out there, all the young women, but we want to share our knowledge so you don't have to struggle like we did when we were little, because we just came out of residential school and we didn't know how to be a parent because that wasn't taught to us, and we were separated from our parents, so we didn't see any of that influence. So we don't want you young people, young mothers, to be left to walk alone. We wanted to be here to help share our knowledge and make life a little more pleasant and more easy to handle, because there are a lot of tough times that we encounter. So I'll leave it at that.
Thank you, Doreen. Yeah, it's a beautiful, beautiful reason for coming together, and it's a safe space for all of us to come together and share and learn from each other. So thank you for sharing that, Doreen. So in terms of the topic today it is tobacco teachings, and just a little bit of background at ARPA and Communities Choose Well, we work with many Indigenous elders and communities. And so because of that, we do tend to get a lot of questions related to elders and the proper use of protocols. So last year, for those of you who were there, we did a webinar or a grandmother circle on Protocol 101, where we just answered a bunch of questions related to different protocols. And so this year, our focus is to kind of narrow in on one of those so we can get into the nitty gritty of maybe one particular protocol, such as offering tobacco. So just wanted to highlight that. I'm excited. And now I'm just going to throw it over to our sponsors really quickly. We have Communities Choose Well and Alberta Blue Cross as our sponsors. So thank you again for sponsoring this event. We have them here just to share a few greetings. So I'll actually throw it to Janet first to speak on behalf of Communities Choose Well.
Thanks so much for that, Brianna. And thanks to, of course, to the grandmothers for their beautiful prayer. And, you know, we talk about medicine and tobacco and smudge, and it is to create a safe space so we could have these conversations in a good way. So thanks to the grandmothers always for sharing their wisdom. I want to thank you, Brianna, because you're hosting. Hosting's not always the easiest thing, and you've done such a great job in the past few circles. So up and coming grandmothers is what we like to work with here at ARPA. So thank you so much for that, for your work. I should also say that Nia Muskiki Kihu Esqueo. So I'm my name that my mom gave me is Janet Knackley. I'm the director of people and programs for ARPA. But I'm also Medicine Eagle Woman, and I want to call out that name because it was Linda Brass. So Cookham Linda, who's on this session today with her husband, the late Daryl Brass Sr., gave me that name. So it's always good as we do acknowledge protocol to acknowledge these pieces as we go forward in a good way. And as Brianna said, she's up north. I'm here in Mohkinstsis in the traditional territory of many peoples, including the Blackfoot Confederacy. And we also have Diane here, Sutina. So we are representing many amazing nations. So thank you for that. Of course, shout out to Blue Cross, yay, who've been champions. Oh, you guys, for how many circles now? So it's always an honor and a pleasure seeing you to Choose Well for championing this. And, you know, I think before we go forward, Doreen hit it on the head too. Like, thank you for all the people who are involved in this. We were having a chat with Diane McGinnis, you'll hear from. You know, thank you to all the people who engage, who come, who listen, who share, who enter this space, because it can be scary and intimidating, and we want it not to be that, because if we're not learning together in a good way, how do we even address reconciliation? So you see, we are wearing our shirts. Do something meaningful, like Brianna said, on the 30th. Make sure that time counts, because the community is stepping up to do good work to help educate people on the challenging past that Canada has had with First Nation people. And I think just being here is brave, and moving forward in a good way together is brave. And we need all of the voices, all of the faces. And I love that we're honoring women's voices too. So I think that's really key to these circles. So thank you for all of that, Brianna. And I'll turn it over to our friend at Blue Cross, Narissa.
Thanks, Janet.
Hi, thanks, Janet. Hi, everyone. I'm Narissa Kanji. I'm the Director of Community Impact at Alberta Blue Cross, and I want to welcome you all to today's Grandmother Circle. Alberta Blue Cross is honored to be involved in opportunities like today's session that brings our community together to learn, connect, heal, and move forward in the spirit of reconciliation and collaboration. I want to say thank you so much to the grandmothers for being here. Thank you to ARPA for involving us, as well as Choose Well communities. And thank you to each and every one of you for being here. We're really excited to start the circle. So thank you.
Thank you, Narissa, and thank you, Janet. Always a pleasure hearing from our friends at Alberta Blue Cross again. So good to see you here. Okay, so I'm gonna switch gears. I'm gonna introduce the elders and grandmothers really quickly, and then we'll get into the discussion. So yeah, first I would like to again introduce Doreen Healy, who we've already heard from. She is the Blackfoot elder and the visionary behind these circles. And so we're just really grateful, Doreen, to have you here again with us today. And thank you so much for giving us some background on the importance and how these circles came to be. We also have Diane McGinnis, who is a Tsuut'ina elder from Tsuut'ina Nation. This is your third grandmother circle now, Diane, and we're really excited to have you here with us. And something really notable that our team, a few of us at ARPA were fortunate to witness, was this summer at our elders camp. Diane was captured by Elder Clarence Wolflag in celebration of recognizing her as one of the lead elders for the Elders Knowledge Circle. So I just want to say congrats again. That was a very emotional moment, and I'm just so happy to have you here again with us. So hello, Diane.
Yeah.
And then finally, we have beautiful Elder Linda Brass. I see her head peeking up there and her fun little wall mount. Linda is a ceremonial elder and Medeoan Lodge holder, and she works extensively with urban-based Indigenous organizations in the Treaty 7 areas, as well as with a wide range of service-based organizations. So fun fact too, this is Linda's first grandmother's circle. So I always love that we're able to bring in different elders, different grandmothers. So welcome, Linda. We're so happy to have you here and to hear from you today.
Thank you.
All right, of course. So as a reminder to the elders, we have some questions for us today. I will read them out to you and then ask an elder or two to answer, and we'll just kind of repeat this process until our time is up today. Does that work for you, ladies? All good? All right. So our first question or combination of questions is, what is the significance of tobacco and why do people offer it? And I will open the floor, whoever wants to answer first. I'll give it like a couple seconds, and if not, I might call on one of you. Who would like to go?
I nominate Diane.
Okay. Hi. Good
Just so
afternoon.
you don't pick me.
Good morning or good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to all the people who are taking part in this this webinar. Yeah, the significance of tobacco, I think, is different for everybody. There's not one way that you could do to deal with tobacco. Each elder, like say, if they're from the Cree community or Stonies or Ojibwe or Blackfoot or Tsuut'ina, there's different ways. Each elder will have their way of how they like say, if I'm going to present tobacco to someone, you can ask. It's okay to ask. Usually you can ask and say, do I give this to you now, or do I, like, how do you want me to give you this tobacco? It's okay to ask. It's better to ask, actually, because the elder will probably tell you, well, you could just give it to me, or you could talk to the tobacco and then give it to me, and I could tell you that if I could help you or not, or that if I could accept the tobacco or not. There's different ways. It depends on sometimes we kind of have some people that are kind of like younger elders, like younger than me, in their 50s, maybe they carry pipes, maybe they have ceremonies, maybe they run sweat lodge. They might have a different way. Those younger generation, they might have a different way than say somebody in their 70s or 80s that has been doing ceremonial practice for a while, a long time. And they were taught by like even older people. So it just depends on where you go. Usually it's really good to ask where the people who you're giving the tobacco to, just ask them and they will tell you. It's no shame not to know. It's better to ask than to try and know, or like as if you know, but you don't know. That it's better to ask. That's a humble way of asking for use of a tobacco. And we usually, for me personally, I usually try and I speak to the tobacco And because it's a medicine, it's like sage or it's like sweetgrass. It's one of the sacred medicines. And I asked the tobacco that, could you do this for me? Could you bless the ground for me? I'm going to pick some sage. I'm going to put you down on the ground. And I'm grateful that you're here with me so that I can pick up this sage. And so it's just it's a practice that you're exchanging one kind of like one medicine, because you're going to pick another medicine. And for other things, like when people go in to get doctoring and stuff like that's pretty high. That's really high stuff. So that one is a whole different thing. But just to, even like some elders, you kind of got to give them tobacco to talk to them, to give advice. They could give you advice if you just talk to it and give the tobacco to them. Some say, oh yeah, what I was talking about earlier is some of the elders, they say, don't put it in a plastic. If it's in a plastic, take it out and smudge it. Or talk to it and wrap it in a cloth. Put it in a cloth, in those little cloth, and give it like that. So it's different all over. Everybody's different. Some people give cigarettes for a tobacco, and some elders, they will accept those. So it's in the spirit of giving that's the most important thing. But I don't want to take up all the time. I'll let Linda and Doreen, if they want to jump in and say a few words too. That will be good. Thank you.
Rich. I'm thankful for the words you said. That makes me very humble, because in our way we're always humble to what we receive in life and ceremony. Even a cigarette, even the strongest part of that cigarette is giving it to the person. That last cigarette, you know, people sit and they smoke and stuff like that, but they don't know. And people should be given the teachings on his tobacco. Like when we go to pick tobacco, we pick it and then we ask the Creator and the Mother Earth that this medicine will go to somebody who will take care of it and appreciate it. And it's sometimes very hard to do that, because a lot of them, they're still young yet, and they don't know their teachings. So the more we get together, and possibly maybe in a friendly circle, someplace that we can all talk to each other, because, you know, through the internet, we just talk about small things, because we don't need everybody to grab a piece of sage and say, drink this and boil water and drink it and put it in a pot, you know, and that's a mistake. You always honor that medicine, always respect it, because when we don't respect our medicines, they will go away. And we need these medicines. There's so many medicines that it's already going back to the mother. And, you know, it's a hard thing to pick up on. And, you know, people say, well, these natives they're picking stuff for other stuff, and, you know, but it's the love of the Mother Earth that she provides to all of us, every one of us who sit here, and the company we keep, and the walks we do for our people, because we want them to be proud to say, I am Native. I am not an Indian. I am Native. I'm a native to part of this land. And I appreciate that when the young people can go and pick sage and they'll give them to elders. And, you know, they won't give all of it, but keep some for yourself. But I'm thankful, grandfathers and grandmothers, for allowing me to talk a little bit of the plants and the sage and everything else.
Miigwech. Thank you, Linda and Diane. Doreen, did you want to add on to anything?
I just feel like lighting a cigarette and having a smoke. No, I'm just kidding. I'm not very, I didn't grow up with spiritual parents or grandparents. So like I said, I'm always learning from the elders that I share meetings with. the what I've picked up is what Diane put so well, and using, like, the only times I've used tobacco, and it's is when I'm asking an elder or a spiritual individual, if they asking them for something to do for me. And one was at for the last 2 years, my first experience at Sundance, where I offered, I asked for help for my daughter who's got some severe health issues. And so get our faces painted and to be part of to dance with the medicine bundle. Again, we had to provide tobacco. So those are the things that I've learned. And I'm so grateful that you, Diane, you're explaining in more detail as to the significance of why we use the tobacco. So I don't know that much more, but I'm just so thankful, Linda, with your knowledge about talking about the significance of. See, that's why I bring you ladies, you grandmothers, you know so much more than me. So thank you so much. And if you see me chewing, I'm trying to sneak in a sandwich. For lunch. So, yeah. Thank you.
Thank you, Doreen. And I think, no, you may not know as much as these ladies do, but what you bring is a perfect example of when to offer tobacco. And a lot of people don't know that. And so, I mean, like, don't sell yourself short. You have a lot to offer here too. And it's so great having you. So thanks, Doreen, and enjoy whatever you're snacking on. No, that was great. So I'm thinking, you both, Diane and Linda, you had mentioned about if you pick a plant, you offer tobacco to the ground. Do you want to expand more on that, on why we do that, and then what that process even looks like? Do we just drop tobacco on the ground? Do you have to bury it? What do you do with the tobacco when you're offering it?
For myself, I always I just put the tobacco down on the ground. And but I know some people, they might make it put it right into the earth itself. But for myself, I just take tobacco, I talk to the tobacco, I put it down on the ground, and I'm asking permission that if I could take this other plant, like say if it's sage, a relative plant, I'd like to take it so that I could use it to make smudge, so that it can be a blessing for me and my family. It's like, how to explain this? It's like, in a way, you're paying for that plant. It's a payment for that plant, because you can't just take it for free. You have to give something for that, to take that plant. And that's kind of like it's a natural law. That's just what it is. It's part of a natural law. It's like the same as, you can't go in a store and just take tobacco. You have to pay for it. You can't go anywhere and just take things. You have to pay for it. It's the same concept with the medicines that we have, that people know, and that people know where they are. Even when we pick berries, we have to put tobacco. We can't take nothing. We can't touch nothing without paying for it. And that's a natural law that comes with indigenous people's ways of how we do things, how we've done things in the past, and how we continue to do things into the future, and what we try to pass on to our younger people. You pass it on by bringing them with you and showing. You have to show them. You don't tell them. You show them and say, this is the way how you do it. You talk to them. You can say a prayer. Like for us, you can say Sutana prayer as the pray for the 4 directions to come and to help you, the grandmothers and the grandfathers from all of the 4 directions to come and bless this tobacco so that we could take that medicine. It's a real, like I guess in the Catholics or like in the churches, they call it kind of like a communion. Well, this is like that too, but it's a communion with the earth and with the plants and with the medicines that we're using. Those are really, I don't think you can pick up a book and find this and read it. It's something that others show to you. They show it, your elders, the older people, and you see how they do things. And that's how we learn. I don't know if that's much help towards this question, but there is a significant way of passing on knowledge. Okay, thank you. If we were out on the land right now, I'll show all of you how to do it, but we're not out on the land. So next year at the camp, we'll do this exercise and we'll talk to the medicine and get medicine. Maybe they already did it this year, but we could do it again next year. Okay, thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you, Diane. No, that was very helpful. Linda, did you have something to add?
Yes, I respect and honor my sister who sits next to me because of the way she has her knowledge and the places she has to go to, pick medicine. Sometimes it's a long search. You have to walk up hills and get wet and stuff like that. And when you take that little pinch of tobacco, it doesn't have to be a big can of tobacco or anything, and talk to the medicine why you want it, and because the people need those medicines. We help them to find it, but if they're not doing it in the right way, there's no sense of doing it, because we've got to be humble to everything. Our plants, the dogs, horses, everything in the world, not just us people, they have feelings. And we gotta, when we offer that tobacco, maybe the next year that grass will be growing a little bit, and you say thank you for acknowledging my tobacco creator, because we're always in the creator's heart. And same with the Mother Earth, she wants to live long too, like us, and learn and teach other people. And I say miigwech, all my relations.
Miigwech. Thank you, Linda. Doreen, did you want to add anything?
No, I don't have much to add, but I do have a question. I'd like to learn too. So when, like every time someone asks me to do something and they offer me tobacco, I've got so much tobacco that I can start my own tobacco shop. So I want to know what are we supposed to use once you have all this tobacco given to you? Is there something that we're supposed to do to recycle it, but giving it back to others, or what? Maybe Diane and Linda, if you could help me with that.
Linda, do you want to go first?
I was just going to say that to you.
Oh, okay.
Yes, but that's okay. I'll go ahead. Yeah. It's when we put tobacco down also, that plant will grow again, and it'll grow in a good way. But if we go around and we take scissors and everything and just cut, the roots, the tops of them off, the root is the medicine, and it travels to your body just like it would travel to a tree. Make the branches strong, make us women, men strong, our children. And it's very important that we learn to do that, because we are showing this respect to the Creator and the Mother Earth and all that's in between. Because also the wild animals, they eat the medicines for themselves. They know what to eat. They don't just go around and take something that's not good for them. They're always aware of what they need to eat. So I just say a small teaching on that, because our ways are going to be lost if we don't start talking up talking about it. And, you know, it's so important, like somebody will go out to Nose Hills, you know, and do a fast smudge, and then goes, picks plants, picks it, and I mean, the roots, they pick the roots too, you know, so many more can grow. And you ask the Creator to pity you, because to give tobacco to the earth, you're receiving a beautiful gift of medicine that will walk with you and share with you in your life. And I say miigwech, all my relations.
Miigwech, thank you. Diane?
Oh, thank you, Linda. Thank you very much. I just wanted to kind of make a little bit of a response to Doreen and her question about all of those tobaccos. Do you remember when we were up at the camp? One of the ladies, Kane's grandmother, Shirley, she gave a whole big bag of those tobaccos to one of the peoples that was doing ceremony. I think Daryl. He gave it to Daryl. She brought it up there, it's a great big plastic bag, and she said, "Here, this is for all of your ceremonies. Use it how you want." And then Daryl was so grateful. He was just saying, "Oh, you know what they say? They say miigwech." He was saying miigwech, miigwech, and that means she said, "I got all these tobaccos from all of the prayers and the services they give me. They give me a tobacco." She said that, and she left that whole bag right there at where they were when they opened up all their ceremonial items, and Daryl was having his prayer ceremony. She put it there. So that's just one that I'm thinking of right now. And the other one is some people, like before everybody got online, we were talking a little bit, me and the other ladies from Alberta, you know, these organizers, and I was telling them one elder that I know, here at Tsuut'ina, as soon as you give him a tobacco, he uses it right away. Like if you say you want him to pray, you know, with the pipe, you know, he'll take it and he'll use it and he'll pray with the pipe right away. He'll take it. And he'll use it, like say that same day before the sun goes down, he'll use it. And then he doesn't like keep them, but then that's a pipe carrier. That's an elder man who carries a pipe. Everybody does things a little bit different. And then other people, they wrap up those tobaccos in tobacco ties, they're called, and they save them for the Sundance. And all your prayers, like say whatever we get, say tobacco for this ceremony that we're doing, whenever we're using a tobacco, it's a ceremony. That it's not a webinar, we're having a ceremony, we're using tobacco. And we could wrap it in a tobacco tie. We could pray with it, praying for all of these programs, all of these people, all of the people they have to serve. They're serving people. This is not for them. This is service for the people. And then we take it to the Sundance and put it on a tree. But that's different ways how people do things with those tobacco, because it's costs lots of money. When I don't know how much tobacco costs, but I know it costs lots of money. And so some they just give like they break it and put it in a little tobacco thing and they give it to you. That's good too. That's a good thing. It doesn't mean if you bring 2 tons of tobacco, you're gonna, get great big blessings. It just whatever you can give, that's the main thing. And some they use a cigarette. Some they use cigarette to give a tobacco and to ask for prayers. So it's different everywhere. Everybody does something different, little bit. But when in doubt, I just ask, I say, how do you do this? What is your protocol? Crees have different protocol. Blackfoots have different protocol. Tsuut'ina's got different protocol. The Stoney people, they have their protocol. Every First Nation has their way of, the Métis nations has their way of how they do things. It's okay to ask and just say, how could I do this? I want to present tobacco. How could I do this? And they'll tell you. They'll be more than happy to say, Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Diane and Linda. Does that answer your? I think that was a really good answer, Dorian. And I appreciated you asking that question because I started thinking about that myself too, because we end up with a few tobacco ties over time. So I appreciate you both sharing and answering that. Linda, did you have anything more to add before we move on?
No, not really.
You're good.
My sister, she picks like me, and we serve the people like me, and it's an honor, and it's an honor to take that tobacco for, the homeless ones, the ones that can't get tobacco, the ones that don't understand the tobacco plant. They think, oh, I did this circle and I did that, and I dumped it on the ground. You talk to that medicine and tell them what you want, because every medicine has their own teaching. I say miigwech.
Thank you, Linda. That actually kind of transitions into my next question, just about talking about other uses of sacred medicines in smudge, and particularly like how tobacco is used in smudge, and then you bring in sage or sweetgrass. Did either of you want to expand on how we use tobacco in a smudge, like how it's like the process of it and putting it in the smudge in addition to sweetgrass or sage or what other nations use? Diane's thinking. I saw her
Yeah,
thinking face.
I know, it's
I
kind
can
of,
see the
that's kind of a,
smoke coming out of her ears.
yeah, that's kind of a trick question, because again, there's different ways that people will, like I don't, me myself, I don't mix the tobacco with the smudge. But I probably, some people do. I don't. When I use the tobacco, when I'm praying with it, I offer it in all of the 4 directions. And then when my smudge is going, I smudge it and I put it down, but I don't put it in the smudge. I put it outside of the smudge. And then when I'm finished praying, I take all of it. I take all of that, those little, like these little things, these little dishes that we use, to pray with. And these shells, I take it and I put it outside. I put it on the ground. And I try and put it like in the dirt, or by where there's a gopher hole, and put it there, so that because all of these little creatures that are around us, they're all sacred animals from Creator, and even them, they could take your prayers to the Creator too. So I that's what I kind of do. I don't but I don't like my mix it with smudge and light it. I keep the 2 separate, but I just pray. I just pray with that. I pray with that tobacco and I put it down, and each direction I pray and I put it down. So but everybody has their way. Maybe some people, they mix it together, and for me, for when I'm really I go to a pipe carrier, I buy the real pipe tobacco. You know why? Because people that's got pipes, they make their own tobacco. You can't buy it, but they use, like, the real pipe tobacco is really expensive, and they only mix it. They mix it with their own medicines that they made to use in their pipe. It's not, they don't put used to cigarette tobacco in their pipes. They use real pipe tobacco, and they make their own. When you smoke pipes, you can tell the difference. Some people have really, beautiful tobacco that they make. You can taste it. So it's people that's got pipes, I usually get them pipe tobacco, real pipe tobacco at the cigar, at those real fancy rich cigar stores that have cigarettes and tobacco stores, those ones. And you'll see how much those tobaccos are. They really cost lots for those pipe. And then but that will last a pipe holder for a long time. He'll make his own tobacco with the other, some more medicine you pick to make tobacco for the pipe, and some their own mixture of how they put it. And usually the spirit will tell them how to do it. So that's even a lot that I told you guys, but that's just like for people that's got real, they got pipes and they've been doing these for, they'll never see them on these webinars, they'll be at home doing their traditional ways. Okay, thank you. But they exist, they're around. Yeah.
They're around.
You can,
No, I appreciate that.
you can buy tobacco, if you're wanting, if any people out there want to buy tobacco to offer to an elder if they want something done. You can buy a packaged tobacco from grocery stores or 7-Eleven or those small stores. Even in gas stations, they also sell tobacco. But as Diane said, they are expensive, but it's for a good purpose. I always think when you need tobacco to offer and ask for something in return. So it's but there's one place, if you've got the time and you want to get a lot of the tobacco, it's I think it's in Manitoba. There's two ladies that grow the tobacco, and they package them in some are in little silver round can, or it's a paper little box, and they're so beautifully packaged. So to help our Indigenous women, if you have the time, maybe buy the tobacco from them, because it helps the small business to keep thriving. So I just wanted to throw that in.
Thank you, Doreen. Yeah, you guys went right into the next question. That was going to be it. Where do we buy tobacco from? And I believe you're mentioning similar, I think the Mother Earth tobacco. So what we use specifically, I think, are they based out of Manitoba, Janet? Yeah. Yeah. So maybe that's the one she's referring to. But this is what we use at ARPA to offer, and they're very handy, and it comes with quite a large little baggie full of it inside. But I wanted to throw it to Linda. Did you have anything to add about this?
I just lost track. Yes, the tobacco is very important. When one of my children are sick, or my grandchildren, I go outside and take it to the Mother Earth, so we can, so my grandchild will heal, because there's so much medicine people are taking, and they're not taking their own natural remedy for that spot. Because I know my mom was Starlight, Ruby Starlight. She married Sam Fraser, and he taught her lots, because he used to travel with them and pick medicine with them. And it's outside by Bright Creek, and that work is so beautiful. And when we shake that first taste of that fresh water, it's so different, it's so clean, it's so precious, and it makes us feel better to let people know that nothing is dirty on the Mother. We are all the same. We might fall down and get mud on our hands or on our face or whatever, but to be protected like that. And when you walk in a good way, your children finds out. And all my children here, not by pushing them or saying anything, they all carry little bundles, because they want to learn. And it's very important for them to learn, because I won't be here forever. And because I can't cha-cha anymore. But it's good to talk to somebody and share with them, because there's so many different nations that we got to respect. We don't go and say, well, this is my way, that's my way. We talk to them in a good way, explaining things to them. And then there's people out there trying to sell natural tobacco, and that's just a scam too. So we need to watch what we're doing. And when you pick medicines and stuff, yeah. And because the Creator told us that whatever you pick off from Mother Earth, you have to put it back and show that respect to them with that tobacco plant. and I say miigwech, all my relations.
Miigwech, thank you.
We're not trying to encourage people to smoke.
No,
This is ceremonial tobacco
Yeah.
that we're talking about. So I just don't want to give the idea that we're encouraging people to smoke.
of course.
No, of course not.
Yeah, but if you do find yourself with a cigarette on hand, that's definitely something you can still offer if that is, I think, all you have on you at that time,
Yeah.
from my understanding.
Mhm.
I just had to
Okay.
throw that in. This is
That is.
a joke.
No, we're not encouraging people to smoke.
Ah,
Although smoking does happen in some ceremonial instances, of course, so we want to be mindful of that. No, that was lovely. Thank you, ladies. So we do only have actually 5 minutes left. So I'll do one last round of, do you want to add anything that maybe we didn't get a chance to touch on today? I'll throw that out there now. Or do we feel like we covered most things?
I'm here.
Yes, Linda.
When we pick medicine, we offer a gift to the Mother Earth. It doesn't matter what it is. It is a gift of tobacco and the natural tobacco, if you can get it. But it's a gift from the Creator and Mother, mostly from the Mother, because the Father, the Creator, doesn't work like that. It works that whoever can understand and learn these teachings, they're very welcome to come to ceremonies, or even if they don't want to come to ceremonies. I stop and I listen to people. You know, one day I was walking down 8th Avenue in Calgary, and this native woman, she was quite pie-eyed, and she says, I need a cigarette. And, you know, I turned around to her and I gave her my whole pack of cigarettes, because that is what we do when we're acknowledging it. It doesn't matter if they're the biggest fall down drunks or the more prestige person of being a native. And, you know, it's always humbling, especially to help a young person, an old person, and the people that's in between. Some of us, we've lost so much of our teachings and ceremonies, and I respect all the ceremonies, whoever does the ceremonies. When I go to a ceremony, I don't go there to show off or anything like that. I humble myself because I'm not important. Other people is important to their spirit and their robe. I say miigwech.
yeah, I usually buy cigarettes, and I put them in baggies. So
Mhm.
when we see people on the street, I give them some money and the bag of because I see so many of them looking on the ground for butts, and it's not healthy for them. So that's why I shouldn't be encouraging it, but I like to help them out.
Mhm.
You could be
Absolutely.
saving their life by doing that,
Yeah,
you know, because you don't know what people stepped on or anything like that.
that's true.
Just I'm sorry for interrupting.
No, I was done. I just wanted to
Okay.
thank you.
Yeah, just one last comment about the cigarettes. The other place we really use a lot of cigarettes is at funerals and wakes. People bring lots of cigarettes there, and the people that are there, I guess, like maybe they like anybody could smoke there, or they leave it sometimes with the deceased person. They put some of those cigarettes, they pray with them, and they put them in a coffin with those people who passed on, as a sign of respect. And they say, so that they have tobacco when they go on the other side, they'll have their own tobacco pouch to give to the Creator or the other spirits that they're going to meet along the way. So yeah, that's the other time we really use lots of tobacco. Lots of times people, they will just bring packages of tobacco to a wake, because that's where they use it lots. Yeah. Like they even, when there's a wake and the drummers are drumming, they always give them tobacco too. They give them a package of tobacco. And that's when like when we have our gatherings, like say at the camp or that, those guys that are drumming, it's okay that they must have gave them tobacco, like maybe Janet or somebody gave them already tobacco to sing those songs. Those are sacred songs they're singing. And it's always good to acknowledge the people that are singing the songs. They're kind of like the most powerful people there, because they're the ones that when they're singing, they're calling the spirits. Spirit's gonna come, and like that, what you talked about, that capture, like that when they did that, it's those spirits that they sang and they came in there. We don't see them, but they come. So I just wanted to share that with you, and in a closing way, in a good way. There's lots of uses for tobacco. There isn't just smoking them. There's not just that. There's lots of uses. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you, Diane, Doreen, and Linda. This was really great. That brings us to the end. Actually, we're ringing in right on time. Might just go like a minute or two over just to wrap things up here. So if folks have to leave, totally understand. The recording will be sent out afterwards. But yeah, I just really, go ahead, Doreen. Sorry.
I just want to say thank you to everyone that was online to listen to the grandmothers. Like I said, they've got so much knowledge to share, and just to help everybody. We want to prepare our young people for the next generations to take over for us as when we leave, because we're all getting up there, and we need to share some of our knowledge and how our younger people take over as we leave. So I have to run. I have another session I have to run to. And just thank you so much to Diane and Linda and Brianna, all of you that do such hard work behind the scenes. And like I didn't mention that Janet, if it hadn't been for her, we wouldn't be doing any of this. It was just an idea that I had, but she made it a reality. And it's so many thanks to Janet for everything that you guys do. All of you gals, you're such beautiful young people. Thank you.
Oh,
our young men, I forgot, I'm sorry. we need young men like you. Thank you.
Kane. Thanks, Doreen. Have a good day. Thank you for joining us.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's a wrap for our Tobacco Teachings Grandmother Circles. I think the biggest takeaway today is just that different nations have different protocols around tobacco. And so it's always important that if you don't know how to offer it, just ask. Elders are going to be there to tell you how to do it. And if they tell you how to do it, it's because they care. I've had that from personal experience. So, yeah, so that was really great. I'm going to then ask Linda and Diane to just close together in your own languages in a good way, and then we'll be on our way.
Okay. Nata nitzikus nahat tiesit tanakata sitana kimagmanis titatanata ninisata kanitzikus nahata titiliminaskana tikatsitla sanita nitzikus nahata sanita. Thank you for being here with us. Thank you.
Be healthy, make rich all my relations.
Hi, thank you. That was beautiful. And yeah, so on September 30th, this Saturday, everybody make sure to go participate in local events if there's any happening, and make sure to wear orange, and just remember that it is a day to educate yourselves and learn. As we know, reconciliation goes beyond just the month of September. So thank you, and we will leave it at that, as it's 2 minutes over time, and I'll send you the recording soon. But thank you, Diane and Linda.
Thank you.
It was great to see you. Thank everybody for coming.